Nicole Watkins, and I'm going to be teaching you for Kaira Studios today, and we're going to talk about breaking down the 100, which is a pretty traditional repertoire Pilates exercise. And so we're just going to troubleshoot a little bit because, one, I don't believe that you have to always do everything the ideal way every time. I think that you should always be able to listen to your body. And so we're going to give you tools to do that when and if you want to do the hundreds. So if you don't know what the hundreds are, they're this quintessential Pilates exercise, and it's just called the 100, although you will frequently hear me say the hundreds as if it's plural. It's just 100. And it's where you have your legs out, they lift up off the ground, you lift your head, and you pump your arms and you breathe in and out. 5 pumps and breath in, and 5 out. So you do that for a total of 100. Now, for many of us, that creates strain in our neck, our low back. We can't lift our legs up that high, so there's all sorts of things we're gonna do. So the first thing we're gonna do is just practice lifting the head up. So I've got some props here. So if you don't have a squishy ball like this or a Gertie ball, you could use other kinds of exercise balls, or you could just roll up a towel, or you could put a pillow, and we're gonna put it underneath our rib cage. And everyone has a little bit of a sweet spot there, like how high or low they can go. So again, play with it, listen to your body, find the place that's right for you. Then support your head in your hands. If you want to stretch your legs out so you're getting that pull of the legs like you would want to practice for the 100, you can. But that's not always right for everyone's back, so you can bend your knees. And then all you're going to do is inhale and stretch back over your ball or your towel. And then exhale, curl up. And then just practice that. And what I want you to feel is that you can squish the ball with your ribs. Let's do 3 more like that. So we'll do 5 of these. Just warming up the abs. Moving the thoracic spine, feeling what has to go down to lift the head up. So my ribs have to go down to lift the head up. And coming up. Then from there you could just roll on up, or you could roll to your side. So whatever feels better for you. All right, and then you're just gonna roll all the way down into the ground. Take a moment, breathe in, and exhale. Just see if you can lift your head up and think as if the ball were still there. And lower down, right? So it just helps you warm that part of your spine up and get the movement in your body in an easier position. So the next part I want to talk about is the leg part. So how would you load your body here? So one, you can practice just tabletop legs, although that's a really short lever and a different placement of the hip joint than the 100. So it's a really great place to practice. So you might do the 100 here and just keep the head down and pump the breath in the arms. You might lift your head and do it. You might just do 1 leg in and 1 leg out. So just playing with that, like could I roll up and down, right? And then what you can play with is what does it feel like to have a leg out? So bringing the feet down to the ground, extend 1 leg straight, and you could keep the knees touching, or you could practice lowering the leg. And even though you're lifting your leg and it's working the anterior chain of your body, your leg is also falling to the ground because gravity, the weight of it is pulling it down. So you also want to squeeze a little bit into the back of the leg there. Keep the pelvis level. Lift the head if that's comfortable for you. If it's too much on your neck, you can always, always, always take the head down. And I brought over a blanket here, which is really nice, to just pad up because then you'll have more success at getting the ribs down. So you can just put your head on the blanket and you can lift your arms and pump there. Practicing keeping your pelvis and ribs grounded and stable as you breathe in and out. And maybe you do 5 sets here and then you switch the leg and you breathe in and out. And you figure how high or how low does my body like to do this with my leg? Like, does my leg need to be a little higher and my back feels better? Or, oh, I can do it lower, that's great. Head could be up as you do this. Breathing in and breathing out, right? So just building into that. You could also just practice some leg lowers. So stretching the legs up, squeeze the legs together, get a little bit into the hip work and lower and see how low can you go with your head and ribs down. I notice the second my weight of my legs starts to pull, it pulls my shoulders, which oddly enough is actually very helpful for lifting your head and neck for that 100 position. And then coming back down. So you could just do leg lowers just to get a sense of like, what does my body do and not do? And then I like to use a block a lot of times for that low lying leg, right? And again, always listening to your body as to how high or low your legs need. And it can be different any given day, right? So listening to your body over any sort of dogma or perfection or anything like that, right? It's just always a work in progress. So I like to take the block to the end of my mat and let my feet rest on it. Now, if you don't have a yoga block, but you've got like a couch cushion, put them on there. Right? Again, you could keep your head down if it's too much to lift your head without any hands, or maybe you take your hands there. But you're just going to squeeze the legs together. Engage the thighs on the front and the back and the side. Exhale, maybe you lift the head and reach towards your feet, or maybe you just reach towards your feet. Let your shoulders go a little bit. Let your ribs sink a little deeper. And maybe your head stays down. Maybe it lifts up. And then you just practice maybe squeezing the legs. Maybe even push your legs down a little bit as you pump and breathe in and breathe out. Notice if your pubic bone is trying to just jut right up towards your face, or can you anchor the pubic bone down, anchor the tail down, bring the ribs back, and then maybe practice just one leg up on a set and lower down, and the other leg up a little bit on a set. Keep the back of the leg active. Maybe you practice, can I do both legs lift? And then come back down, and maybe you do another round, one leg lift, breathing in. Maybe you're like, oh, my neck's getting tired. I'm gonna bring my head down, but my ribs have to stay down. Keep breathing. Maybe you try both legs again. And then you just release and relax. And you bend your knees, and you take a little breather there. Maybe you wanna rock the hips side to side. Maybe you wanna keep flowing, and you go right up for your roll up. You reach your arms and you roll right on up to sitting. So just a lot of different ways to explore and play with a traditional repertoire exercise that you can really make your own. And also it might be one day you're like, I am doing this so great. You might have a series of weeks, and then you sleep wrong on your neck, and then your neck's a little out and you need to do it with some head padding. So always taking care of your body first. And I hope you continue to explore this. And I am Nicole Watkins, teaching for Kaira Studios, and we hope you stay strong, stay healthy, and stay home. Bye.